Hey guys! Today I'll be teaching you how to do a zombie bite. This is a look I've done before, which you can see on my Instagram account, and I can't wait to recreate it for you guys today, so let's get started. Before I started anything, my dad gave me his famous cookies, which were delicious. Now to start, the first thing I'll be using is my Ben 9 nose and scar wax, and this spatula to help me smooth things out. But before I use the wax, I'm going to gently bite my skin to mark where I'll put it. I'm starting off by rolling a snake with the wax between my palms. And when it looks like this, you're then going to make a circle with it. You are then going to take this circle of wax and place it where your bite mark was at. Then you're going to smooth it into your skin, both inside and outside of the ring, until it looks like this. Using the same primer you've seen in my last video, I'm going to be smoothing out the wax until it looks cohesive with my skin. I noticed there was a lot of excess wax, so I decided to scrape it off with this spatula. I went between smoothing the wax out and taking off any extra that was on my skin until I was happy with how it looked. This next step is a little gross, but I did go ahead and bite into the wax once again to get the final bite marks. I made sure not to scrape with my teeth because you only want the actual print of the bite and you should not have any wax in your mouth. I am then going in with this spatula tool and re-smoothing any parts of the wax that have been lifted. And then I'm going to be taking off any of the extra wax that is around the bite mark. You should be left with something that looks like this. You only really want wax around the teeth marks themselves. I'm going back in with the primer to smooth everything out one last time. After cleaning it up a little bit more and redefining some of those bite marks, I am finally happy with how it looks. And so I'm going to go in with my spatula and create a sort of scraped look with the wax that's still left on my skin. I'm making sure to be very light because I don't want this to be so noticeable and rather a smaller detail. This is how it looks when I'm all done sculpting the wax. And it's finally time for the next step. But first, I want to make sure to dry the wax with this compact powder and a fluffy brush. Now I'm using my liquid latex by Spectacular Creations. And to not be so messy, I'm going to pour it into a paper plate. And then I'm using this wedge sponge to dab liquid latex all over the wax. You can also use the thinner side of the sponge to get into the bite marks. And now we wait for the liquid latex to dry. I decided to do one more coat of the liquid latex, but this step is completely optional. In fact, putting on the liquid latex in the first place is optional, but I chose to do it to protect the wax. I find that putting on the liquid latex makes things a lot harder in the long run because it eventually wrinkles up your skin and it's a lot harder to blend makeup into it. Now that it's dry, we can begin to color it. I'm going in with a thin brush and Mayron's Bruise palette using the color Burnt Maroon. And I'm using it to create shadows in the bite marks. And I almost forgot, but I also powdered down the liquid latex to get rid of some of its shine. And this is when it starts to look a little too real. Using the Bruise palette again, I'm going to use this blush red color. Using this color, I'm going back to the bite marks and focusing more on the edges to make a highlighted blood look. Now I'm using my most favorite palette that I own by CC Beauty, and I'm using this fluffy brush to go in with these two colors. You see me use this technique a lot, but basically what I'm doing is creating shadows and a bruised look around the wound. As I'm going over the wound with these colors, I'm also making sure to blend it into my skin and make everything look even. I also go in with a darker color and create more shadows around the scraped parts. And this is me realizing there's actually names to these colors behind the palette, but I don't have time for that, so I'm going in with this cream color. And I'm basically just using it to highlight the bite marks. And now I'm using it to go over any spots that I feel I've made too dark. And just a little update, this is how it's looking so far. Now I'm going in with a fluffy brush using the same colors as I did for the bruises, and I'm making sure to color my whole arm. This step is also optional, but I chose to do it to make everything look a little bit more cohesive. And with the same fluffy brush, I'm going in with this yellow color, and I'll be brushing it all around the wound to make it look infected. It should now be looking like this. Ouch. Using the same thin brush as before, I'm going to begin to make veins, and I'm going to be using the same blush red color. This step might be hard if you don't have steady hands, but you want to make sure you're brushing very lightly. I'm impressed with how it's looking so far, but I later ruined this because I go a little overboard. Then I use my Skin Illustrator FX palette using the color Ultra Blue to make light blue veins. Now that I'm happy with the amount of veins, I'm going in with my vampire blood and I'm adding in the final touches. But I still felt like it needed something, so I'm using this prickly brush that was dabbed into the blood to create a splatter effect all around the wound. I then dab in the blood a little bit to make it look a little bit more blended. And this is the final look. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please let me know if you have any questions in the comments and I'll be trying my best to answer them. I'm going to link all the products that I used in my description, and I just want to say thank you everybody who has subscribed to my channel and everyone who has liked my first video. next week I'll be attempting to do a zombie makeup look, and I hope you guys can enjoy. Have a great night or morning, depending